Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin, utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange market or using any of our software alert products, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There is a possibility that you could potentially sustain significant loss. You should not invest any capital or trade that you cannot afford to lose. It is your responsibility to be aware of and understand all risks associated with foreign exchange trading and to seek professional advice from an independent certified financial advisor if you have any doubts. Auvoria Prime does not exercise trading authority over your trades. You and you alone exercise discretionary trading authority over every trade.
New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar seem to be the weakest on all four. So we'll be looking at trading the US dollar to the strength of the US dollar against right now we're looking at the New Zealand, the Aussie. The British pound is kind of in there. Swiss franc's kind of in there, but we'll see what alerts pop up, and then we'll take it from as they come and give us the alerts, and then we'd make the decision, and we analyze the trade and see if it's worth taking or not. Let's go to the Forex Factory and see what kind of news we have today. Pretty much it's pretty quiet up until later on this evening, 9:30 this evening. Australia has some news coming out. But on that, during the daytime, not a whole lot going on. And let's see, anything else? Just looking at some of these orange folders, nothing really too exciting there. And we'll check the Forex, my FX book, and see if I can find the news on that one. News. That's not what I'm looking for. Other news spreads. And I'm not seeing what I'm looking for here. Oh, we're not going to worry about that one. We've already talked about the news. Let's go to the charts. And you should be seeing my charts now. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm just
got you up and up.
I'm in my command post today, so that's a good thing. But I'm going to try and work these things a lot like I do with the laptop so that I can easily switch back and forth when I'm on the road, which I will be doing a fair amount this summertime, I have a feeling.
Right. I don't blame you either.
So right now, there's nothing on this one. We're going to just go take this one off. Let's check out some of the U.S. pairs with the New Zealand. So I'm going to come over here on the list since we don't really have, here's a 5-minute British Swiss. I'm not expecting a whole lot. That's pretty much right back in the zone. Very narrow range. Nothing there. So let's take a look at like a U.S. New Zealand or U.S. Australian and see if there's anything there that pops up that might be of interest since we're waiting for an alert to come up. I see it looks like we're in a downtrend. Lots of red, a couple green. And we're going to go and put the moving averages up. Try and do everything as mechanical and as routine as possible. First thing I generally do is I look and see what the zones are, see what the direction is, see if there's an arrow to be seen, put on my moving averages, and then say, okay, everything is moving in the right direction, but where's my next zone? It's all the way down here. I'm on a 5-minute chart. So the lower the time frame, the less room you're going to have to get a trade out. And you can see that right now we're only 4 pips away from the green zone. The spread is already probably just about 2 pips spread. Again, there's not enough room. I like seeing 15 pips to a target zone, whether it be a moving average or whether it be a green or red zone. I like seeing at least 15 pips and then try and take half of that with about a 5 to 7 pip target on that. And if I can get more, great. If I don't, I'm usually happy with 7 pips with a higher lot size. This one doesn't give us anything to really look at. We can go to a 1-minute chart. And you can see, actually, there's nothing on the 1 minute. Looks like it's going through the 1 minute. So there. Looks like it's on a little bit of a pullback. We said we were wanting to trade to the strength of the dollar. This is the New Zealand US dollar. The dollar is the strongest pair. In fact, it's the second currency of the pair. We're looking to, the strength of the US dollar is going to be to the short side. So we have a nice little drop, retracement, dropped again, Here's the extended move. Here's the retracement. Here's the extended move, retracement. But you see these extended moves are getting shorter and shorter and shorter all the time. So we don't really. Oh, I get a little feedback there. So we really don't like getting, as it starts getting a little bit weaker and weaker on the down moves, we're going to start looking for maybe a reversal time on this. So with that, we see everything's moving in the right direction. We're seeing we now have a little bit, if we go all the way down to the 1 minute, which is where we are, and I expand this out a little bit, you'll see where the green moving average is starting to cross over the yellow. That's a pretty significant factor that this thing may be running out of steam to the downside, looking for a pullback, come back down to retest this level. You can see it's starting to build a little bit of a wedge here. We have a little bit of a down slope here. This is all part of the technical analysis that we're trying to teach in this and bring to everybody's attention on how to analyze some of these trades. Now we're on a 1 minute chart, so that's the this is a little bit what we're looking at right here. And let's see if I can span this up a little bit more so we can see a little bit better. This is a little bit better. You see there aren't any zones right below, which is kind of interesting on the 1 minute. There's probably some way down below, but if we go to a 5 minute, we'll see we should have we have that 5 minute zone sitting right here. And not only that, we have two of them. So it could very well possibly, when you get these two zones close like this with a little bit of space in between, oftentimes you'll see the first one gets broken, the next one holds. So this thing still could have some downward pressure. Our moving averages are still good. We're starting to get on the 5 minute, this yellow moving average, which is the 13, is still relatively far away from the green. So if it comes up, this area should hold. This one we're getting a bounce off it. This thing could very well just be going sideways inside a very narrow range from here to here. We're looking at, that's still 19 pips on the 5 minute chart, which isn't too bad. And again, we're looking at the strength. So we're not looking to take this thing long. The moving averages are going to the downside. We have a little bit of a pullback, which is good. And if we were looking, I would like to be looking at this overall range. Here's the nice range between, on this 5 minute chart, here's the nice range where we were. So what I will do is I'll draw a Fibonacci. I'm gonna go from the high to the low. See where this bottom one is. See where my zones are. And I'm gonna mark my zones. This is pretty much the method that we're using in this room to start off with. This is just one of the tools in our toolbox that we use. It's not the only tool, and sometimes we use the hammer, sometimes we use a screwdriver, but right now this is the main toolbox that we're using. We've set up the Fibonacci's. I use the upper 25% of this big down move. I'll look at the bottom 25% of the down move. And I'll draw my rectangle here. So that's going to be from the, when I say 25%, I'm really looking at the 23.6 Fibonacci level to the 0 line, and then the 76.4 Fibonacci level to the 100 line. That's the range of the Fibonacci's. These are the three main one. Most of the time, when you get a move, this is the middle of the move. So when it comes back down, oftentimes you'll see it's going to come back and retest this area in here. Sometimes it stops at the 38, sometimes it stops at the 50, sometimes it stops at the 61. But right now, once this thing starts deciding to come out of the 23 on the upper side, now we're going to start looking to see if it's going to cross this. Then we look for that for a target. Cross that, we look for that for a target, and so forth and so on. So we're going to mark our target zones. This is going to be one target right there. If we do start taking this to the upside, where the dollar starts losing strength and the New Zealand dollar starts gaining strength, we'll be looking at taking it long. But right now, it's still in a short position, and we don't know how far down this is going to go. As this thing goes down, we'll readjust our lines. And so you can see it had a little bit of a pullback. It didn't pull back very deep. I'd like to see a pullback closer to that 23% line before I would take it short. But we could also be looking at, if this green line is our target, we can look and see, there's our target. I want to see it pull back at 15 pips, which is going to be right about to that 23%. So if it pulls back to the 23% and gives me a hook to say, okay, this thing's going to retest this again, I may be willing to take that trade. But for right now, it's too indecisive. I'd like to see a little bit deeper pullback, maybe even start seeing this trend, this moving average being closed, get it closed above that, come back up, test this one, come back, retest, have the green and the yellow cross back again, and then maybe take a shot at to the short side. But right now, it's just too tight, too range bound, and there's really no trade there. So we'll keep this one on the charts. We can come back to this one and see if we can do anything with it later on. So put this one up here.
Yeah, no, there's no point rushing into trade when it's not a decent setup, right?
Correct. Any questions about that analysis that we had here? So we're still looking for a little bit more of a pullback, and maybe another retest. Come down to retest this lower point right here. I would expect it to come back up. If it doesn't cross and close below this, let this little pivot right here. If it can't close below, that means it's starting to reverse. When it reverses, I'm going to see a strong move up, close above the 23, come back down, then retest this pivot right here. And usually a lot of times you'll see it right in around that where the 11% retracement is. I want to see a strong move up. I'll draw this out. Here's the low. I want to see it come on up, close above there, have a nice little wick perhaps. Then I want to see it come back down and retest this trend line, maybe bring it down to, so as long as it doesn't go below it, have a little bit of just a little bit of a trend there. And then at that point, I want to see it cross above the 23 and then take the trade and look for this for the target, close above, this for a target, close above, this for the target. And by that time, we're looking at this is coming down, and you could possibly have a nice little bounce off of this. This should be the ultimate target. But right now, it's not ready yet. And it seems like it was a pretty slow morning this morning. Any questions about that analysis so far?
No, there's not a lot of action, man. It's
pretty quiet today.
I'm scanning some currencies, some indices, and gold, and trying to see if we got a nice setup, but I don't see nothing right now.
We can check the German. I like the German 30 this time of day because the German markets are open, European markets are open. Let's give a little scan on that and see what that's looking like. Pop this up. Let's look and see. Now, right now, you can see this is a strong down move right now. This thing's. Let's see. Why am I getting an echo here? Somebody's mic's on.
Yeah. No, it's coming off of.
Where's it coming off of?
Eva's.
I don't think it's mine because I've been hearing this nonstop buzzing. Like intermittently, it keeps on buzzing. It's like static on the line or something.
Huh. Because I'm getting.
I mean, I can turn my mic off.
I'm hearing myself. No, I don't think that's it. Well, I don't know what to say. Yeah, so I'm getting an echo feedback here.
Maybe it's not Eva's.
Is this any better? Can anybody hear me now?
I can hear you.
Could you just hear me when I asked? Could anybody hear me now?
Hear that?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I've been hearing that the whole time.
Huh. I wonder if it has something to do with my setup here. For some reason, something got changed on me.
Not sure, man.
But you can hear me okay now, right?
It sounds like a loose wire. You know when there's a loose wire and it starts to get that static like in a speaker or something? That's what it sounds like.
Well, not much I can do about it right now at the moment. I can spend
we'll just have to bear with it.
Bear with it here. All right.
Yeah,
So basically,
it's the market hackers or market makers hacking in to see what arrow is showing us.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it is. We've become so popular that everyone's out trying to mess us up here. But the trend is great. it's been, it looks like it's made a nice little high, it has a nice little red zone. It looks like it's trying to close below this moving average coming up. So this is the area, this would be the run. This is 2 days ago. This is today. This is Wednesday, Tuesday. This is Monday's action, Sunday and Monday. So it has gone up over the last couple of days. It looks like it's trying to give up a little bit of the gain. So what I'll do is I'll draw and we have no alerts or anything on this, but I'm going to take it from this pivot right here, which is right where it was retested this blue line. But before I do that, I'm going to put my moving averages up. Let's see. Moving averages. What am I thinking here? Oh, template. There we go. Here's my moving average. Everything in the right direction. We're starting to get a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of a challenge to the downside. I like this will make my variable chart trades look a little bit happier. But here's our moving averages. Here's where we're going to start the Fibonacci lines from there to here. Come over here. I'm going to draw it from this. This is the first. This is the spike up. This is where it left this zone, and here's where the first pullback was. And if you look and see, like just to this point, you'll see on the way up, it pulled back to the. I don't know if you can see it or not, but this is pulled back right to the 38% pullback, and then it shot up again. So here's a strong move up, basing, strong move up, small little pullback, made a new high, and now it's starting to retrace. So we're going to take it from this low all the way up to the high, right up to where that red zone is. We're going to mark our 25, my lower and upper 25%. Now right now I'm on a daily chart. I'm going to go and push this to a 1 hour, expand this out a little bit. I'll tweak my my moving averages. I'll tweak my Fibonacci's a little bit. I can find out where it is. Where is it? Here. Actually, we can take it on to this point right here. This is probably a little bit more conducive to our time frame. I'm using this on a 1 hour chart. Strong move up, retraced, came back, pulled back down. So from this point, here's the high. It did make another little higher high, but just sort of wicked up there, gave us a nice little zone. I'm going to keep that. I'm just going to keep the Fibonacci's right where it is right now. Mark my upper 25 and lower 25% with the rectangle. And that's pretty much from this area to all the way over to here. That's the upper 25. We'll tweak this up as we get into a lower time frame to be able to see exactly what we did. Here's the lower 25%, which is right. You can see where this zone is right here, right at the 76% line. There's the lower 25. Oops, wrong one. Got the wrong tool. Take that one off. Try to get the right one here. Shapes. Rectangle.
Whatever you did seems to have corrected it. Yeah, it's done. I don't hear nothing.
I did absolutely nothing. Gremlins, electronic gremlins.
Yeah, let's blame it on the gremlins.
All right, so this is our zone. You can see where it kind of poked its nose right up in there, but then it was rejected. So that was a little head fake right there. Just
we can't hear you, Al.
You can't hear me? Test.
Oh, I can hear you. I can hear Al.
Is this better? Is this better, Eva? Test. Might be you on your end there, Eva. Anybody else have any problem hearing me?
No.
What's up in the chat box?
The chat's good.
Chat's good?
Yeah.
Nope, no problem. Okay, weird. Okay, yeah. Yes, Eva, it is weird. Who knows why? All right, so basically we're back to looking at, here's our upper 25%. This is again, this is the British 30 or the German 30. Poked its nose up right there. Here's our 25%. It pulled back down, closed below. Now here's our 38%. Let's mark these up: the 38, the 50, and the 61. I'm gonna mark these. And you can see this came right down, right to the 38%, and somehow or another it knew exactly right where that was, and it just bounced. I'm on a what time frame? I'm on a 15-minute time frame now. You'll see that these zones don't change when you change time frame. The distance between these zones don't change with Fibonacci. The thing that changes is when you redraw the Fibonacci, then it will change the value between these zones. And right now, between the 38 and the 50, we have, in this case, we have, it's a 1509 to 14. It's about 30, about $125 move in between there, which is a pretty significant move. But on German 30, that's about what we're looking at for nice little moves. Here's our 38. Here's our 50. Here's our 61.
Jackie posted something in the chat there about her US 500. There might be I know she took a nice sell on there, but there might be another setup potentially. So I'll keep my eyes on that.
Okay. All right. Right now we're working this one.
Yep.
So here's came out of the 23%, 25% area. Strong move down, pull back. Now let's see where we'll measure now we have, these are our main zones we're looking at. Our 25% zones are marked out. Now I'm going to take this Fibonacci off and redraw, because now we're looking at trying to catch some trades toward the downside. The dollar was, let's see I'll check where the euro was. We'll check that back here in a second. So right now I'm going to go to my objects list, find where my Fibonacci is. It's right here. I'm going to delete it. You see it goes away. And now I'm going to draw a Fibonacci. Now we have a red zone here. We have a nice strong move down, pullback. We're going to measure that out. So from here to here, we had the break and the close. I'm not sure we'll be able to get into anything or not, but we had the break and the close, came back, retested it, came right back up to as I tweak this in a little bit more, I'm trying to see if I can expand it so you can see it a little bit better. Here is the move down. Here is and retested 61%. Oftentimes, as you see these, the first one usually gets retraced a little bit deeper, then it's a little bit shallower. But it's just all part of the price action. You just have to learn to accept. There's no real hard, fast rule about how far it's going to retrace back. But from here, here's the move down, came back up. Here's the 61%. So we know that this thing came back up into this area right in here. And it came back down, and now it's making another push to the downside. So from that, we're seeing this right now, it's starting to test this level right in here. Here's the down move. I'm just going to slide these points down. I'm going to slide it down to, now I'm going to see it I like to see it close below the green line. And I'm going to move my top of this over to the top over here. I'm going to move this target area. So right now, I like to see it pull back. I want to see it close below, and I want to see it pull back somewhere in between this 23 and 50 area right here. If it can close below this green line, go down, close, come back and retest the 23 or 38, I will probably enter this, and the moving averages are still going the right direction. I will probably try and take this thing short, and then my ultimate target will be this line down here. So right now I'm looking for this thing to close, pull back into the blue zone, respect the moving averages, and then I want to see it go from there. Then my target is going to be probably 7 pips, which is going to be right about to that point, but the ultimate target would be right down here like this. So that's what I'm looking at for this German 30. But right now we need to get a close, a pull back into the blue zone, And we can even take it, I mean, we can even take it up a little bit higher here. It depends how big of a stop you want. From the, this is at 15,173 to this area right here. You're looking at a pretty much a $50 stop, but we're also looking at a target then would be 15,133 to a target down here would be we're looking about almost $150, $160 move to the downside. So this could be a nice little move, but I want to see it pull back up, close, pull back into the blue zone. Moving averages stay the same, go back to a 1 minute chart and then look for the entry. So that's what I'm looking at for the German 30.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's what's that, 3 to 1?
Yeah, that'd be about 3 to 1 or 2 to, yeah, 2 to 3 to 1. Again, oftentimes I'm only going for the 7 pips, or in this case, I'll probably be going for, I like to try and get at least maybe the zone of half this, what these zones are. So if that's 115, 156, half the zone would be, that's about $20, let's see, that's about a $30 move between these zones. If I can get a $15 move with a large enough lot size. Now with the German 30, I'm going to be looking at a 0.05 for the entry for the lot size on this one. This one could get a little expensive if you get too big of a lot size on it.
Yeah, doesn't it take $100 and some worth, like $88 worth of margin just to put a 0.01?
Yeah, this one has a fairly good spread on it. Let's see where we.
It does. It's 10 pips or whatever.
$10.
It's nothing. Yeah, it's nothing. It's very, very tight spread.
So we're going to keep an eye on this one. So we have a couple of alerts coming up over here. So we'll keep our eye on the German 30. And let's see a 15-minute CAD Swiss. Let's see if there's anything here. CAD Swiss. Oh, bounce. There's a little bit of retracement. So I kind of like this. This one's looking pretty good for the. Let's check the CAD Swiss. Check and see where the strength is on the CAD is. It's in the. It's not overly convincing that it's going to be. CAD is stronger than the Swiss on the little higher time frames. Got a little bit of a switch over here. Swiss is stronger on the 5 minute. That's probably the pullback. I always be trading this to the strength of the CAD on this one. So having said that, let's go back to the charts. CAD is the first currency of the pair, so we're looking at trading this thing to the long side. I'm going to draw a Fibonacci on this real quick. We have, here's our Fibonacci's from here to here. And here's our 61, 50, 38. I'm going to mark that. And here's our upper 25%. Doesn't take long to do it. It's worth taking the time to make these, to do these analysis here. Here's the upper 25%. Strong move up, pull back. Now we can, oh, we've got one more to do. Here's our lower 25%. Here's our move up. It broke the 25, came back down. Right now it's trending on to the upside. Nice big strong move. This is a strong move up. Look at the angle of that. And the CAD is still strong. So we have our moving average. Oh, I didn't put the moving averages up. That's. Here's our pullback. Here's the 30 pullback to 38%. I think I can take this thing along. Here's the arrow. Here's the arrow entry right here. CAD is strong. I think I might take a shot at this one. Cost 38, came back up, retesting the went all the way up to 61. Couldn't hold the 61. This is a little bit of a pullback. Can we get 5 pips out of this thing? If it crosses over here, we have 5 pips. That's 7 pips to the upside. We're getting a little bit tight on our range on this one. We pretty much needed to get it right on that arrow. If we can get a pull back to the arrow, we might be all right with the trade here.
Yeah, we gotta be aware. Pepper said that there's 4 yellow and 1 red news folder for the Canadian dollar, and coming up in 30 minutes.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you, Pepper. I'm gonna change the design on this one.
That
too.
might be a game changer.
That could be. Here's the entry. There's the arrow entry on this blue line. In fact, it came all the way up to the 61. Couldn't break through that. That's a nice retracement off of this down move.
Very nice, actually.
Yeah, let me get the moving averages up here. See where they're at. Should have done that first. As soon as I do that, now I have to redraw everything else.
No.
So here we go. It's we did break the 200. Green's still good. Still hasn't crossed over the yellow. Here's our entry right here at the arrow. We have the green, yellow, 200 still. I prefer to have the 200 down here for the stronger uptrend, but it did break the 200 significantly. Here's my Fibonacci. Here's the zones. Let me make this real quick here. 61, 50, 38, 38 still holding. Strong little pullback in there. Get my upper zones. I'll take it right to, here's the upper 25. Here's the lower 25. Nice little pullback. Do we have room to hear from? Here's a target. Here's a pullback. This is a 12 pip pullback right to where the arrow entry was. Change back to a different color again, so we don't get the lines confused. Doesn't really matter what color you make it, as long as you can keep them separate. I'll go to a 1 minute chart and see if we can see where got the hook, got a little zone right here, which is right at our 50% retracement. Sort of basing right in this area. Although on the 200, we have the 200 lower. We're starting to get the cross back over. We had a nice little pullback with the green moving average. Now it's crossed back over, starting to head on up. We got this little pesky little zone right here, but if it can break through that zone, if we can get a close in that 50, we could be heading back up to the 61 again. We do have a level on a level. We do have a little bit of a trend line coming down. And so we have a strong move down, a little bit of a basing right in here. It's basically consolidating right now. I'm going to hold off on this one. There's an up arrow, but it's right into that zone. CAD Swiss, let's see where the strength is. The CAD, not so much here. They're kind of fighting for last place there. CAD strong, Swiss is weak. Strong, weak, strong, weak. You could take a shot at this one. I'm going to take a shot at this one with a buy.
Nice.
Go for my 7 pips. I liked it because the CAD was strong. It showed a little bit of a pullback. Let's see if I can double check my settings here. I'm going for 7 pips, so I need a 70 here, or 700 on that one. I want a 1500 on this one. That's going to be 15 pips. Should be a 15 pips and 7 pip target. Actually, I think I need 70. I think I got that wrong. Should be able to see my targets there. 70 and 1500. That's right. That's what I want. 70 and 150. That would be better. Now I should see my targets. And my entry was 74.62, so my target would be 74.69, which is right at that blue line. That's where my target is. And my stop is at 74.47, which is all the way down here. We can actually move this thing up quite a bit. We can tighten this stop up a little bit to this. I say move it to the bottom of, we'll keep it out of harm's way. I'll just move it up here to this green zone right there. That tightens up the stop a little bit. See how our German 30 is doing, see if there's anything with that. Anybody keeping their eye on the German 30 for me?
I've got it on S&P 500 right now, actually.
Okay, let me double check the German 30 while we are in this trade. Just hanging in there. We'll see what happens. German 30. Here's our pullback. Now we didn't get the close below, but you are getting the pullback into our blue zone for the entry. And you can see it's right now from this level. This is how low it got. Couldn't quite break through this green zone. It's pulling back. And the 23 now is, now we have to use the zones what the price that this price gave us. This is the move we have. We're looking at from this move. Let me see if I can, where's my Fibonacci? We can actually take it from this move here. I like looking at the last significant down move. And now we're looking at the retracement. So I want the zone to be, it was pretty much from the, is breaking out of the 23% of this. So it's in that zone. Here's our 23% right there. And we use the 23 to 50, see where it comes up, see if it comes up into the 50. If we can get a wick above the 50, the 200 still holding. The further this thing comes back and curls around on our 1 minute chart, the more likely you are to be able to hit the target. Right now, the target is going to be somewhere around in here. So we'd be looking at least a pullback. I'd probably like to see a little deeper pullback too. If we can pull back to this area here, that's at 150.48 to a target of say 150.94. That's going to give us that's $100 move just about. Try and catch 75%. So yeah, if it can still come back, if it can still not close above the 61, if it can stay with, if we could just get a wick up into here or stay within this blue area, then we have a shot to the downside. But right now, the moving averages are starting to change. There's a little bit of a consolidation. It's just a strong little pullback. And see where it goes. Be patient. Looks like we're taking a little heat on the CAD Swiss. Here's our trend line. This is our entry. We're looking to this thing to go to the upside. The CAD was stronger than the Swiss. A little spread on that one. 1.6, not too bad. Right now from the up move, it's, let's see, where's our 25% zone? That's all the way up here. And we're kind of right in the middle between the 60 and 38. Trying to decide which way it's going to go. Let's go to a 5-minute chart on this one. Strong move up, pull back. This could be starting to come down to the downside here. There's our little uptrend. Here's a move up, pull back, strong move up. We tested this area. There's a pivot, so we'll put a line here. I'll probably try to get my stop. If it breaks this trend, this bottom trend line, I'll probably get out of this trade. My stop is still down here. Did come up to a red zone, pulled back. See if it's going to come up and retest this enough to maybe get us out of this trade. We may not get our full target up here to the 61, but we may very well be able to get, if it can break through, get a close above this trend line, comes back into retest the red zone, I'll be out of this trade. I may not get my full 7 pips, but right now I'll give it enough breathing room to work with it. See this yellow, the green line came back down. It's crossed the yellow, but now it's starting to try and cross its way back up. On a 1-minute chart, see if it does, see if it crossed over. Yellow crossed over the yellow, came back down, retested it, pulled back, and now crossed again right here. So right now, we have this trend line from this point to here. Here's the anchor, here's the hit, here's a hit. Now we have another little tighter trend. Looks like that point got rejected right in this area. Let's see if we can get up and just get a few pips out of this. I may have to tighten my stop on my target. Let's see, where's the numbers on that? That's only 3 pips, 4 or 5. So there's my 7 pips up there. CAD Swiss, let's check and see where that is right now. On the 15 minutes, still stronger. Still stronger. Little bit of a pullback on this one. Right now, they're kind of neck and neck, trying to decide which one's going to take over. No clear direction on the 5-minute chart. Higher time frames is still in favor of the strength to the CAD side. How's our German 30 doing? Pulled back. I'm not real fond of this one yet. See how this thing pulled right back to the 38? Couldn't close above. It's kind of basing right now. In fact, it never really closed below this green line. It gives me pause. This thing could start reversing. But here's the bottom of the move. I'll use this little wick right here. Here's our trend. Here's the anchor. Here's the hit. Right now it's somewhat range bound here. redraw this. Here's the anchor, here's the hit. Now it's looking to see if it can break through that. This thing may still want to be going to the upside. This one's starting to get positive. Check out our CAD Swiss. And if it comes up here and starts testing this, I may just pull this trade. We have, you can see where the spread is. Here's the red, this is the sell line, here's the buy line. We want the buy line to get up to our target. Our target's still kind of way up here a little bit. May have a little bit of a struggle getting through that. The fact we have a level on a level, I'll probably, as soon as this thing as soon as this candle comes up and comes anywhere near touching that, I'll probably close this trade out. See how it's kind of struggling right there at that red zone. Don't want a winning trade to turn into a losing trade. We know we had a pretty strong pullback. And I'm going to take this thing off. These two zones are going to be low. It could maybe break through this red zone, but I think it's going to have a little bit of a problem getting through this. So put some money in the bank for the day and move on.
We had a request, Al, for you to check out gold.
Yeah, I would be disappointed if we didn't. Gold kind of bit me a little bit yesterday.
Ethereum bit me yesterday, hard.
Here's the gold. Okay, let's see. We're on a 15-minute chart. Here's our low. Here's our high. And right now it's in between. I'm trying to find out where the high and where the low is and see where it's playing in between. Trying to find out where the levels are. We are in a down move. I'm going to put my moving averages up before I forget. And you can see we are in a downtrend. Nice strong move down. Here's the pullback. It's crossing right over at the 200 moving average. So it's respecting this. It went up, came back, tested, pulled back down. Now it's retesting it again. This is a strong move. Let's put our fibs on here. From here to here. Here's the upper 25%. Remember, these things like to go, these prices spend more time going sideways than it does trending. So you find out where the zone where it's going sideways and then find out where it's trending inside that area. Here's the lower 25 to the next data break. And we had here's a nice little pop. Here's the overnight high, the overnight low. Here's the money zone. Just mark this over here. Let's just move this over here. Here's basically where the money zone started. Here's the end of the day here. But you see where this line right here, there's the high candle of the overnight line, got into the money zone, broke, went up higher. Now it's coming back down. So right now it's trading inside these two 25% zones. Let's mark our 35, 50, 61. Here's a 35, 50, 61. Take our Fibonacci line. See how low it's got over here. Save myself some drawing this way. We have our green zones. Now it's coming up to the, here's the down move. Here's the last down move right over here. Now it's pulling back into from, actually, let me just reverse this so it doesn't confuse everybody. Here's the move down. This is the origin of the move that broke the 25, came back down, and just it's already gone through the 50, the 30, though. It's going through all three of these, and now it's coming up to retest this. So I don't know which way this thing's going to go. And it looks like I sorry, took that trade off already. How's our German 30 doing? Pull back, still trying. Nice move up, pivot low. Now we have the respect to this trend. Let's see where the euro is on this. I want to see if this thing's going short. I want to see the euro being strong. Euro is relatively strong. So it does have some punch to the downside. If it can break through this zone, then we have 3 more zones below, I believe. Let's see where I'm at here. Yeah, if it can break through this, then this thing could really start taking off to the downside. Right now, it's still kind of consolidating off of this move, pulling back. I think, let's see, yeah, I've got that up there. This could be a nice little drop, basing area, and then another drop. I'm gonna take a shot at this. It's got a nice red candle pull back. Not gonna go for a lot on this. I'm gonna sell it. We do have the crossover of the green and the yellow. It makes everything's going in the right direction. I have the green, yellow, the arrow moving average, the 62, and then we have the 200 all the way up here, which it could not come back up and test the 62 or this 200. Have a little arrow that helps to support what we did. We're on a 1 minute chart. We have a 1 minute down arrow, but this would probably be the target. The fact it pulled back, I'm expecting this thing could probably come back, close below. We may be able to hang into that trade till it gets to the next level, but it's got to clear through that pivot first. It did find some buyers coming in right in this area, so buyer beware or seller beware. Here's our trend, came back up, hit. Here's our third hit, couldn't make it, actually formed another zone. We can put our stop. I'll probably put the stop above this zone at about 15,148. That'll be my stop target, and I'll go for 15,170, 150, 173, 50073, we'll call it, just roughly. And we can tweak it here as we go along. So my stop is up here, right at the 50 zone. I'll move it up so I can you can see a little bit better. Just move a little bit out of the way there. And my target is down here. If it can come and tag this green line, I may take my profits depending on where it's at that point in time. If it should break above this trend line, I may get out of this trade. Right now, it looks like it's got some pressure to the downside. Here's the start of this trend. Came back down, tested it, pulled back, tested it, pulled back. I'd like to see a breakthrough here. It may not. If it doesn't, we'll be out of this trade. At least see it come down, at least test this green zone. But my stop is way up here, way off harm's way. I've got this trend line for a barrier. I've got this little area for a barrier, and I have my blue zone that I determined was where my entry was. You see, it came right up to about the middle of the greens. It came right up to 31%, was rejected. That's a nice little rejection point. That makes for a nice little drop, retracement, basing. Now, if it can just break through that, we could have a nice little trade to the downside. It's got to work its way through this little area. But now we have a little bit of a wedge. When it comes to the bottom of this wedge, we could be seeing the breakout once it gets near the point of this wedge. Here's a high, here's a low, lower high, higher low, lower high, break, come back up, retest, and then break it again. Here's our M. Here's the first leg of the M, here's the middle of the M, right shoulder of the M. Now we're looking for a drop. Now we're looking for the A's, as what we had on the strategy list, where they talk about the M followed by 2 A's, pull back, pull up, drop, pull up, and drop again. We'll see if this will confirm that. Right now, everything looks good. Do is take your best shot at it and see what happens. Questions?
Doesn't appear to be any at the moment.
Quiet group this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's that echo again.
Yeah.
Now I'm echoing.
Now test. I think it might be through your microphone there, Eva. I'm not sure why. For some reason, we're getting it today.
It's possible because the speakers that I normally hear you on, which are the speakers of my Mac built in, I can't hear you. All of a sudden they cut right out and I can't hear on them.
So if I talk right now, see, when your mic is on, I'm hearing the echo. When you turn your mic off, I don't hear it.
Weird. I wonder what's going on.
Yeah, something's weird there.
So I'll just be silent.
Okay, be silent till you need to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where it's coming from. That's we have to work on that a little bit here today. You're our techie guy there, Matt.
Yeah, a little bit when I need to be.
I wonder if it's my earbuds, because I've got my earbuds.
It could be.
Yeah, and that's how I managed to hear, and I use the mic on my earbuds.
Oh yeah,
that's what it is.
It's coming through your earbuds is what it is.
So maybe they're getting old and decrepit, and I might need new ones or something.
Well, if you have your speakers on the Mac, when it comes to the speakers on the Mac, it's also echoing through your earbuds, and then it sounds like you're. Yeah, I think that's what it is. As I speak, it's probably coming through your speakers, and it's picking up through your earbuds. That's through your earbud microphone.
Look who's techie now.
Yeah, no kidding. Mr. Fix It. So yeah, we'll check it out after the session.
Okay. And so right now I'm still okay with this trade. I mean, it's pulling back a little bit with a 0.05. Basically, for every dollar that it moves, it's going to move $5 or 50 cents. I think 50 cents. No, $5. Yeah, every dollar move is going to be a $5. 0.01 is $1 for $1 move will give it $1 move on your account. So if this thing goes down right now, if this thing goes down $10, they should be getting a $50, be up $50.
It looks like S&P might go down after all. again. Looks like it's done its little consolidation.
I like trading the German 30 during this time, then I like trading the other indexes once the U.S. market opens up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I can start trading the S&P and the Nasdaq maybe around 9 o'clock, 30 minutes before the market opens. You'll start seeing some moves, pre-market moves. But usually, like when we start around 7:30, it's not the best time to be trading those. German 30, I'm okay with because the European markets are open, and that'll be a German. That's the German. That's like the equivalent of the German Dow.
I like how you explain that. The German Dow. CAD Swiss just shot up, eh? James is talking about that.
CAD Swiss, we were in that one. We were in that one long too, weren't we? I think we were. Yeah, broke through all those zones. I think I was in that one long. Let me see. I think that's right. Yep, I was in the long. So basically, I got out. Well, I got out with a profit, so that makes it a good trade. Those of you who wanted to wait for it to break through those other two zones, put on 5 minutes, see where those other zones. They just broke. Right here is where there was 2 red zones right in this area. It went right up. Look at that one. Went right up into the 25%, was rejected. So this thing could start to turn around again and trade and come back down and retest this zone. How's gold doing? Gold's coming. I would expect the gold to maybe come up and retest and then maybe fall back again. Gold's kind of trading right now. It's trying to struggle to get up to that 1900 level, which is where it was about 8 years ago. And it broke it in July of last year, and we're coming up on June, July of this year. We could see another run into gold this summertime, possibly. Certainly had a nice one last year. Here's our German 30. Here it's starting to break down. It's coming into our zone right here. I got my target right in the middle of this, the 2 green zones. I got my target pretty much. Well, actually, the fact it pulled back from here, it pulled back to the 38. I could almost even take it to this down to the 38, but I'm not going to push it too hard. Let me give myself a little bit more profit potential. But right now, I want to see it. I got to see it close below this green line. Right now, $50 will buy some groceries for the day, or for a day probably anymore.
Yeah, you can barely get a little basket for $50.
It pays your cell phone bill for the month.
Not in Canada.
Cost you more than $60 a month for your cell phone?
God, yeah. We pay some of the highest fees.
Mine's just over $90 a month, and that's considered to be relatively cheap.
And that's just for you?
Yep.
Wow.
My wife and I together is costing us $150.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got 4 people on our account, and right now we're averaging about $50. And that's not including, that's just for the service. That doesn't count for any phones that we're paying for, anything like that.
Unreal.
See how this thing bounced right off of that moving average, off of that Fibonacci line. Again, you don't want to turn a winning trade into a losing trade. Where I had one bounce off of here. Now we did break this trend line. Now it's coming up to retest the trend. It's coming back into the wedge. If it comes all the way back up, it could possibly retest this upper trend line. But it could be where we just have the break. Retesting the trend, this lower trend line, and then it could go and drop off. Expand this out a little bit more. How lucky do you feel? Right now, my moving averages are still being respected. Here's my arrow moving average. That's the one I like to see hold. As the yellow and the green start widening out here at the bottom, and the yellow and the blue moving average can hold, we can almost maybe follow that, use that as our stop zone, just keep it above that. As long as it doesn't break that, as everything starts widening out, it should start breaking to the downside. It will get even wider yet. Here's a little bit of pullback. It tested the yellow one, couldn't break through. It's testing that lower wedge or lower trend line. Right now it's respecting the yellow moving average. I'm going to draw a parallel trend here.
I started doing a lot of channel work, Al, like drawing channels and price. Really interesting stuff coming up. Really interesting.
You know, one thing about channels, I know you're a big pitchfork guy, and channels are really nothing more than the tines of a pitchfork when it really gets down to it. And it's a question of what the Fibonacci levels. See, it's nice breaking down, real nice right here. That was the test right here. So here's a drop, retrace. So we can almost even move this. Let's see, where is my Fibonacci zone? I like the fact it broke that. Now we got the close below this Fibonacci line. Everything's being respected. Here was the first breach. Here's the first. Remember we said about the M. Here's the first. Here's the M. Left shoulder, middle of the M, right shoulder. Came down. Here's the first A. A. See if I can draw these. We should have at least probably two of these. So if it comes back up, should drop again, and by that time I'll be out of this trade. You see right now, here's the pivot. Here's the top where it came back up. Couldn't break through this, the moving average. You can actually redraw a trend line from, here's the first rejection. Now here's where it broke. Let's see if it can follow this yellow moving average all the way down. Take your profit when you feel like you're ready to. That's retesting this. It broke through, now it's retesting it, pulling back. Oops, let me get my Fibonacci, redraw my Fibonacci. Get rid of that. And now here's where the broke. I'm gonna redraw the fib. Here's my strong move down right here. And here's my new zone that we're looking at for the retest. So here's the 23. Here's the 50. As long as it can stay above that, we're still good to go. Again, here's the M first pullback. There's the first A. As long as this zone stays respected, we should be good to continue on down. If it starts closing above this green line, we may want to start thinking that this may be a little bit of a head fake, but right now we're still okay to the downside. Let's see how our euro's doing.
That crypto market's taken a real dump.
Yes, it certainly has.
Down like 20% on everything.
Yeah.
Just
well, we had a nice little pop. We had just today. Yeah, it's been pulling back quite a bit. It's we might start seeing. It's hard to say what's going to happen with else. The euro's strong right now, so that means that tells me that we're in the right direction. At least for now, anyway. Looks like we're in the right direction for the German 30. Yeah, Bitcoin's really pulled back a lot in the last last week or so.
Certainly has.
It needed to breathe a little bit.
Sure did. I'm taking a couple short positions, since we're using leverage. I got a XRP short right now, actually. Looks like it might make a new low. We'll see what happens.
I look at these pullbacks with the cryptos as buying opportunities.
Yeah. And you don't want to be buying on every one of these pullbacks, man. These have been pretty deep. We'll see what happens here.
Now this thing we have, here's the top, here's the pullback. It pulled back to, see where it said, look at it, pulled back right to the 23%. So to be looking at this area as a target would not be out of character. And so if we're looking at, here's the 38% line. So maybe a little bit above that 38 to 50, and just slide that up a little bit for a target. Be looking at shapes, rectangle. So here's my 38 to 50 line, right in this zone right in here. And the fact that it only went to the 23 makes me think that maybe we may want to, if I can get this, slide this zone up, maybe slide this on up to about there. And if it comes into this area, I'll be okay with taking it out of this trade right in that area. Lower my expectations, but right now I'm up $89, so that's
not a bad morning, man.
It's not a bad morning.
How many hours you got to work as a pilot to make that, my friend?
Well, it depends what seat you're sitting in, but
ain't that the truth?
That just say in my early days of flying, I was making $5 a day flying.
Oh my God! Wow.
And that was a good day.
Yeah. But if you made that 80 some bucks in about an hour and a half worth of work, I mean, that's 3 times what a very well paid individual will make. So that's worth its weight in gold, really, because you can do that almost every morning.
Well, bottom line, you can make this, and today I can buy my groceries for the week or for a couple of days anyway.
Right.
So right now I'm looking for this being my target. We'll see if it comes down. I mean, there's a good chance it's going to, part of the theory is that if you want to hang on to it long enough, it closed below this green, the next target is the next green to the downside. So that's going to be all the way down to, where to go? Or did I lose it? I think I lost it.
All right, my wonderful friends. I need to take off and get some work done. But awesome session. Really appreciate it. And we will
for your help. Thanks for coming in.
Sooner than later, man.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
All right, later, Ava.
See, right now, this thing is sort of basing right here. I got $90 in my profit. I'm just going to close that out and say thank you because we're getting close to wrapping this thing up. This thing could spike up. It could, I mean, right now, there's no reason to think it's not going to keep on going down, but I get a little bit impatient. I don't always like giving up. Like I said, I don't like giving up winning trades. I don't like turning winning trades into losing trades, especially when I'm up $100 on this. But here's the target still. Every win adds to the credibility of the system. And so what you're doing is looking to make I mean, I just did that with a half of a lot size, of a 0.05 lot size on that. Again, I still think this thing could come on down. Right now it's following this yellow moving average. As long as it doesn't close above that, as long as we can keep making newer lows, I can keep on bringing this blue zone down, pulls back to the blue zone, you can take another entry. Let me see, let me get to a higher time frame draw, see where my other charts are, where my other lines are. Like my tree man just came here again. Oh yeah, they are still here. So basically, we had we did get the break below here. This could be the ultimate target right in this area, right in here, which is still quite a ways down the road there. All you swing traders out there, that would be your target if you have the patience to look at it. But this is a pretty strong down move right now, so you don't want to be. I'd be looking at selling pullbacks on it right now. But I'm looking at this on a 1 hour chart. So here's my Fibonacci zones from here to here. Here are my zones. Actually, I could probably, on the 1 hour, let me redraw these areas. I kind of like I like drawing them on the 1 hour for our daily sessions. Let me see what we got here. From here, here's the up move. Let me redraw these and see where we're at here. Here's the 38. Actually, this is a 76 down. This area down here is we're coming right at the 61% on this one. These are our three zones right in here. We're actually kind of fighting this 61% area. Let me draw this. $38, $50, $61. Here's our lower 25% in this area right in here. Here's the daybreak. The daybreak. This is all today's action here. And the upper one. See where my rectangles are. Here's the lower 25. Here's the upper 25. Expand this out and see what we got. Yeah, we did get a nice little break below. So right now, if it keeps on going, we'd be looking at the 76. I'd probably be looking at maybe a little bit short of that in the midway of this zone. Here's our strong move down. Here's our pullback to the 38. I like the 23 to the 50. Pulled back. Here's the strong move down. Pull back into our blue zone. Now the next pull back to the 38. So we're looking at the 38 for the target. So our target on this one could be initially, I would say, right in this area. I'll go 38 to the 50. And I'm going to slide this one up to the midline and try and catch it before it turns around. That would covers the spread. And at this point, it would be my target. Right about there. And we'll make this one red and we'll make it dotted so that we can see where our normal right there. That's be our target. And if anybody was patient enough, you're probably going to get that. But right now, we said we've already covered these three zones. Right now, it's coming back to retest the 23% zone, and right now it's crossing. It's heading towards that. Well, in this case, it's going to be this is the 76 level right in here for the higher time frame from the bigger move, and now we're just looking to try and catch these moves to the downside. Any questions? Looks like we're about ready to wrap this thing up. Any last minute questions, comments?
Kristen was saying that he got 400 plus pips on the German, and he was still riding it down.
Oh, good for him. Yep. Yes, if you have the patience and the intestinal fortitude to stick with these things, you can, certainly you can make a lot more than 5 or 7 pips. But like I said, my goal was 5 to 7 pips a day with a 2% of my account. There's the target. There it is. There was the hit. There's the fill right there. And it's still going strong. But you can see where as it started, especially when you keep at this green line coming up, couldn't break through the yellow, and then it started getting wider and wider. And you have your other Fibonacci or the other moving average. You can use that. And actually, right now, you can even use this yellow line as your trend line. Just keep following it down until it keeps hitting until it gets to where your target zones are. Right now, the main target zone right now is still we're looking at this 38%, which is right where it's at. If I pull it back down, here's the 38%. There's the target. 38 to 61. I would expect to see a little bit of a bounce coming in. I don't know if anybody's doing the 9 to 12 session. They're having a hard time finding people to fill that spot. But you see this nice little drop, retracement, drop again, and then we'll probably come back and retest this area right in here. So I'd be looking for a retest area. I'd be looking at this area, probably right about in, let's see where we at. Yeah, pretty much right where this is, where it came at. This is where it tested. This is where the sellers came back in, drove it back down. The buyers are going to come back in somewhere down here. The buyers are going to come up and probably retest this area just before the break. This would be the next retest area. This is the whole little pivot area that it retested, broke through, and somewhere in this green line to this blue area. Once it pulls back, once it hits once the buyers come back into this thing again, and I would suspect it's maybe all the way down to this area from here to where the 76 is on the extension. I would expect to maybe a bounce. If it keeps coming on down, I would expect to start seeing a bounce along in this area. So with that, we have about 3 minutes to wrap up here. Any last minute questions before we go?
I don't see anything at all.
Okay, all right. Well, run this thing out for the next couple of minutes and see if we get a bounce on this thing and see where this thing decides to turn around.
In the meantime, I'll say goodbye to everybody. Some people
right,
are
Eva.
leaving, so.
Thank you for your We'll see you in the
Oh,
other
I'm not leaving. I'm just saying some people are already saying goodbye. So before they leave the room, I just want to say goodbye to them.
All right, yeah. So long. Thanks again. Thanks everybody for your participation. Thanks for showing up. We love having every one of you here, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. And
yeah, everyone have a great day.
Wrap this up. Give it a couple more minutes, and we'll say goodbye. And this candle is going to close out in about another couple seconds, and we will be out of here. Keep an eye on this. So basically, looking at this, I'm looking at a target on this move down to somewhere around the 150, 15015 area. So this candle just closed. We closed with no hardly any wick at all. We'll see if there's any pullback on this, and just keep on coming down.
Quick question for you, Al. One last one in the Q&A.
Okay.
Do you listen to any pre-market calls or commentary? If so, from where?
The answer to that is no.
Short and sweet.
I look at the news. I look at my strength meter, the Fibonacci, not the Fibonacci, but we call it Hercules now. But I look at the news, see where the news announcements are. I look at this chart, and that's pretty much all I look at. And the rest I do just strictly with the Fibonacci price action and the overall price action of the trade, and that's the bottom line. It's pretty much what I use. And I do that with
don't lie. News
and
can.
I do that. You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
I do use the arrows.
Can be very subjective, so you can't follow it.
Yeah. I do use the arrow alerts. They're helpful to bring my eye to the chart, but I don't use the alerts strictly just because it generates a sell signal. Doesn't mean I automatically take it short. If the price action looks right, I'll take it short. If not, I'll analyze it and see if it's fits the trade strategy. Basically our trade strategy is find the higher time frame move and then try and find the zones that the higher time frame move made, which would be these green lines. And then as it starts breaking through that on the retracement, try and get into the trades as it's retracing back to the downside to the target area. But the arrow brings my eyes to the charts on different time frames, and I do the price action that we try to teach in this room to get in and out of the trades. And I said I go for my target is I try and get 7 pips a day with a 2% move on my account, and with that, if I can get 2% a day on 5 days a week, that's 10% on my account in a week. That's not a bad return. The bigger your account, the bigger the numbers are. So with that, have a good day, everybody. See you tomorrow.
See y'all tomorrow. Have a great day, all.